And welcome back to the Delaware Boys Dynasty Football Podcast. We were on strike. Frankie said he couldn't record. We were waiting to get back. But you know what? Fuck it. Let's run it. Frankie will be back Wednesday. Top left, top right corners, your host. Hey, Ryan.
What's up, boys? How we doing today?
AJ in the bottom. Welcome back.
What's up, guys? What's up?
Last installment was the AFC North. Very interesting podcast. Fantasy-friendly division. Next, we get into the NFC North. I think has some sleepers in it. Not as fun to talk about as like the AFC West or the AFC North so far. But we're gonna hop into it. I saw a stat the other day. I'm gonna talk about the division champs first. A lot of question marks around this team. No Devontae Adams. I'm just gonna start off with an interesting stat. Aaron Rodgers 23.9 points per game in fantasy throughout his career with Devontae Adams. Sample size with Devontae Adams, sample size without Devontae Adams, 23.3 fantasy points per game. Anybody that is scared to fire up Rodgers as a QB1 going into the year, please don't be. That's going to be my take for the year. Rodgers will finish a QB1. He's one of the best ever step in between the lines. Fire him up if you got him.
Facts. Never shy away from Aaron Rodgers ever. This should be legal, right? He's too consistent.
Yeah.
For God's sakes, I think he has like a career 1.9% interception percentage. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. His touchdown to interception ratio is absolutely nuts.
I got a share of Rodgers. I'm not shying away from him. That team, I got Rodgers and Brady.
The boys of fall. The old men of the old.
I'm loaded up on 2023 picks though, so I'm okay. I got a backup plan.
The question is, where does the offense come from? You lose MVS as well. You draft Christian Watson in the second round. Allen Lazard signs his second round tender. I see a lot of their game coming from how we think it's going to play out with the Chiefs. A lot of spread the ball offense. A lot of receivers are going to step up at big times. But I think the running backs are going to be heavily relied on this season. A lot more than they were, when Devontae Adams was there. I think this could be Aaron Jones's best year from a fantasy perspective. Same with AJ Dillon as well. I think they both can finish. I think Aaron Jones, barring health, is a top 10 running back this season. And I think AJ Dillon has a chance to be a top 15, top 20 running back this year as well.
I agree with those. I think the one guy that keeps getting overlooked is Randall Cobb. Believe it or not, regardless of age. I mean, him and Rodgers have that chemistry. He told management last year, go get Randall Cobb, just so he had another one of his guys on that team. Granted, injuries are going to get him. I mean, he's older. But I think he's being overlooked a little bit. A lot of people are worried about the new weapon in Christian Watson and the come-on of Allen Lazard late in the season last year. But, I mean, Robert Tonyan back as well. I think he's going to play a pivotal point in that offense. I could see him getting double-digit touchdowns, maybe around 500-600 yards, though. Not a lot, but, nice red zone target. But I think Randall Cobb could be a nice safety blanket for Rodgers come this year.
Yeah, so right underneath me, I was going to touch on Tonyan myself. I mean, they went out and re-signed him, so obviously there's interest there. Not a lot of big body guys in the red zone of that team. So, I mean, he's going to eat the touchdowns.
And that's what I wanted to say, too. Tonyan coming off of a pretty gruesome injury last year. But I don't see how he doesn't have a shot to lead this team in touchdowns. Granted, he played with Devontae Adams, and Adams was, for a 4-year stretch, was averaging anywhere from 13 to 15 scores a game. Had an outlier 18 touchdown season. But like you said, Tonyan should be a lock to at least hit 8 touchdowns, barring on health, depending on how slow his start is coming back from this injury. But if you had to own a wide receiver in this offense, is it going to be Allen Lazard or is it going to be Randall Cobb?
Talking strictly from a dynasty standpoint, I guess I'd just fucking guess on Christian Watson, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't know how much longer fucking Cobb has as a player in general. MVS, even on Kansas City, which is a high-powered offense, he was never really that guy. So it's MVS, Lazard, my bad.
I don't think any of their wide receivers are worth a own in fantasy, really. Yeah. I mean, Rodgers could retire after this year, and then Christian Watson stuck with Jordan Love. I mean, I don't think he's going to have an impactful year for fantasy owners this year.
Wasn't
He's gonna
Rodgers
have-
signed for
Hey,
like,
Rodgers.
He signed a 4-year deal, but he can opt out every year.
Yeah,
So if he wanted to retire every year, he could. But I mean, with that money he got, I
I'm
don't
not
see it
retiring for that
happening.
money. Shit.
But you never know with Aaron Rodgers. He's a diva. He's an absolute diva.
Yeah, he talks about retiring all the time. That's the one thing about owning him in Dynasty that scares you. But we do play in a lot of deep leagues, fellas. I mean, the three wide receivers plus the 2 flexes and on top of your super flex, 12-team, 14-team rosters. These guys have to be owned. You know what I mean? Like, no matter how you want to look at it, they are owned somewhere. And some teams are starting them on some weeks where things like that. Give me the chemistry. I'm going to go with Randall Cobb as their wide receiver 1 this season. Granted, this all bars health. I mean, that's what it comes down to. I think Aaron Jones is their most impactful fantasy performer this season. But I think Randall Cobb finishes as their wide receiver 1.
I'm curious to see if Sammy Watkins makes the roster.
Me too. And Deli TK said the same thing. He said you go out and sign Sammy Watkins to $3 million deal. You went to get it's guaranteed. I don't think Sammy Watkins is a for sure lock on the roster. I really don't.
Not. $3 million is like fucking nothing for an NFL team. So it's like, how much commitment do they really have?
Yeah, that's what I said. And I mean, it all depends too. Like, you still have some free agent. I mean, you have a name out there that really speaks to me when it comes to a sign on like Odell Beckham. I mean, granted, you're coming off 2 ACL tears, but a guy like Odell Beckham, I think, would fit very well with Rodgers. He's a veteran guy that very savvy, knows how to play the game. May not be that impactful receiver that the Giants had, but he can still ball. Look at his playoff run last year. Dude can still play. Deli, while you're pulling up the over-unders, I'm going to start it off. Green Bay, the number 10 offense in the league last year at 25.6 points per game. I don't ever like to bet against Aaron Rodgers. I'm gonna go over. I'm not betting against Aaron Rodgers. I'm gonna go over.
Not bet against Aaron Rodgers. What was the number?
25.6 points per game.
That's a lot of points.
I'll hit the under.
It's a lot of points.
I think they try to control the ball more. They got a good defense.
They do. You do prove a good point. They have a solid defense, man. Solid defense.
Probably a top 5 defense, honestly.
I can definitely agree with that. Locked down their number 1 corner too. Jair just got that big deal. You know, congratulations to him as well.
They added a couple pieces in the draft.
Yes, they did.
And Rashad Gary really came on there at the end.
Yep. And I also like Devondre Campbell. He was a solid pickup last year. But Deli, are you going under or over on these points?
Oh, under. That seems like they regress a little bit with no Devontae. Even with Aaron Rodgers being as good as he is, I don't think it makes a difference.
Okay.
Or I think it makes a difference. But as far as the over under for wins, they're sitting pretty high up there. They are at 11.5.
I hit the over. That's their division. I can see them getting 12 wins.
So are you calling a clean sweep for the division? You saying
no? I think they split with Minnesota.
So they split one with Minnesota. So
I got Minnesota making the playoffs. A little spoiler alert for the viewers.
Okay. I'm gonna take the under. I think Green Bay wins 11 games. I'm gonna go under.
Fair.
Yeah, I'm under as well. I think 11 is a good number. They had 11 wins last year. I mean, they probably stay consistent. Lose Devontae. I mean, that'll hurt a little bit, but I still think Rodgers gets the job done at the end of the day. Yeah,
and like I said, I don't have them as the number 1 team in the NFC. I don't have them I obviously have the Rams, and then I have the Bucs ahead of them as well. So I think 11 is a good number for them. I think they hit that. Matt LaFleur is very, he has obviously a very good record as a head coach under Aaron Rodgers playing together. So I'm gonna take 11. I think that's a good number for them. Let's jump into it. Minnesota, 1-year deal for Kirk Cousins. Will he be throwing the rock to Justin Jefferson in 2023? That is yet to be seen. I think Kirk Cousins is one of the most underrated QBs in the NFL and fantasy perspective as well. Kirk Cousins, he's not going to have those those huge games. You know, I mean, he rarely has the 40-point games, but the 20s, the 22s, the 23s, the 24s, it's consistent. If Thielen's healthy, you know, it can be a top 10 offense. You have Justin Jefferson, you have Dalvin Cook. Thielen and Cook are aging as we speak. O-line has some issues when it comes to it, but I like the Vikings. I'm waiting to see if Irv Smith can come back and be an impact. I personally don't think so, but people talk about him as a buy low. I like this offense, though.
I'm definitely one of those guys holding out hope for Irv, to be honest.
Froze up on me, bro.
I'll take over on him. I like Irv Smith, actually. I think he can be a low tight end 1 this year. I mean, I don't see him much different than Mike Gesicki. He finished as a tight end 1 last year. I mean, Irv Smith, I mean, he recovered. I mean, he got the injury in like mid-August last year, so he'll have a full year of recovery from a torn meniscus. In perspective for the NBA followers, Robert Williams tore his meniscus, came back a month later, and played in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, I mean, that was crazy.
Just in perspective, he's getting a full year. I mean, he was an athletic tight end at Alabama. We haven't really seen what he can do. He was always behind Kyle Rudolph when he was healthy. I think he can have a decent year. I mean, you know what you're getting out of Adam Thielen. They're going to target him heavy in the red zone all the time. Jefferson's going to move down the field. I can see Irv Smith getting some cheap touchdowns. I'm a Kirk Cousins guy. I think he's closer to Matt Stafford than a lot of people think. Doesn't turn the ball over as much as Matt Stafford as well. He gets a lot of hate for no reason just because he's not good in primetime games. But
go AJ.
But like,
go AJ.
And like, he's a solid fantasy quarterback.
Yes, he is.
I don't know the exact number on interceptions last year, but I believe it was lower than 10. I think it was
7.
like 8.
It was
7 with like 35 touchdowns. I mean, you can't get not getting that from another QB2, as in people, that's what people quote him as, QB2. But I wouldn't be mad at him as a QB1 if you can build a strong roster underneath of him. But swing back to Irv Smith. I like Irv Smith. I think if you could buy low on him, I mean, he might not even be owned in a couple leagues. I actually seen him picked up in a dynasty the other day in a 27-man roster league, and somebody didn't have him rostered. I would have picked him up if I known he was out there. So that's my fault. I'll own up on that one. I think it's a good stash.
Yeah, I got cut out before my fucking Irv speech, but yeah, I'm big on Irv too. I think he can do something this season. I'm excited, but just Justin fucking Jefferson on his team, dude. Oh my god. But back to Kirk Cousins. I lost my fucking train of thought there. My bad. I think he's the most undervalued quarterback in fantasy. Like, overall, he gets way more hate than is deserved, to be honest with you. He outscored a lot of great quarterbacks last year in fantasy, too.
Yeah, he consistently sits as a top 10 to top 12 QB every season. Respectably startable. I've seen his completion percentage go up. He was a 70% completion percentage passer last year. He was money. The thing that makes it, people don't realize, it's hard to win games when you have the 28th ranked defense in football, bro. When you're scoring the way they're scoring, but you have to go point for point every single game you play. Like, look at the Ravens game. That was awful. You're up 14. Your defense gives up a 17 piece in the third quarter alone. You can't win games like that consistently. So hopefully, you know, the coaching change, things like that, hopefully they get it figured out and it's a fresh start for him. But the one player I'm stashing, I really like on this offense to emerge after next season or possibly this season, depending on health, KJ Osborne.
Not who I thought you were going to say.
I like KJ Osborne a lot. Liked what I saw from him. Averaged over 11 yards per catch. And his target depth was like 9.5 yards per target. Very reliable hands. Had like a 80% complete or catch percentage. Very reliable dude. I'm actually excited to see him grow. He's only 24 years old. I think he's worth a stash. A guy that I'm excited to see from 2023 on.
Yeah, I was gonna say you gotta wait for Thielen to go away for Osborne to get any type of production.
Yeah. And especially if Cousins isn't there, you don't know who quarterback is going to be next year. I mean, with Kellen Mond, that's their backup.
Kirk Cousins is signed in 2023. 2024, he's a free agent.
Oh, okay, cool. That's good for Minnesota.
Yeah.
The guy that I thought you were going to say is a guy that I own literally in every single league that I have, which is Alexander Madison. I'm a huge Madison guy. I mean, he's every time he gets an opportunity when Dalvin goes hurt, goes down, which is every year, he produces. He literally produces every single time. He's a free agent after this year. There's a lot of running back needy teams right now, let alone next year. When there's a lot of aging running backs too. So and Madison just turned 23, believe it or not. I mean, he's still young. Dalvin's 26. I mean, he's going to get hurt. He's a perfect stash. Like I said, I already touched on it. I love him. He's a stud. I mean, Dalvin's Dalvin as well. I mean, he puts up numbers every single year.
Yeah.
It still never gets talked about being running back one in fantasy. And every time he's out there, he's putting up, 16 to 21 points a game with his occasional 3 touchdown games. But
AJ, speaking on that conversation we had, 4 running backs next year are not under contract that are legit, that are starters in the NFL. 6. 4 are not under contract, and 2 are eligible to be cut after this season. So just talking about your Madison take, there can be a job for him coming into 2023.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I was going to say, I touched on it after the podcast yesterday, but like, if we're talking redraft only, I've read statistically on a stat that said that if you draft Dalvin Cook and Alexander Madison, pair them up, then you're looking at a running back 1 throughout the whole season, whether Dalvin Cook's on the field or not, because you have Madison who's just – I don't know what's up with him, man. I think he deserves his own role, but it's also scary to see him as a running back 1 to see if he can actually keep up for a full season instead of just being the guy that steps in for 3 or 4.
Yeah, it's like that question, man. Like, can Tony Pollard handle a 17-game workload?
Right.
If Zeke were to go down. But the thing is like you never know till you know. And when Madison was on the field, AJ's right. He has him in every league. He's explosive. He runs hard, and he puts up excuses.
But it could also turn out to be like a Tevin Coleman. Tevin Coleman got the opportunity. He didn't really shine too often.
Exactly.
But
could be a Felix Jones.
That's what Dynasty's all about, though. Man, you got to have those guys that are your guys that aren't everybody's guys. And you got to sit on them and just hope that they shine the way that you think you do, and it makes you feel good. That's what Dynasty's about. You got that. You're like, that was my guy. It wasn't your guy. Like my guy last year was Chenault. He really bit me in the ass.
So we have Minnesota as a top 13 offense, coming in pretty close to Green Bay, about a half point behind. So we got them at 25 points per game.
Take the over. Guess that.
I'm going over as well. I think these are the only 2 teams that are going to go over in this division when it comes to points scored.
Man, I said under for the fucking Packers. How am I supposed to say over for the Vikings? I mean, I think
their defense
the Vikings have a little bit more star power than the Packers do. You got Dalvin who can get 3 touchdowns in the game. Yeah, give me the over. Screw it.
Yep, I'm going over for both.
They're not going to be – I mean, they're going to be in shootouts with that defense. It's not like it improved. They got a safety. They got Booth in the second. They got the safety out of Georgia in the first. I can't think of his name.
Lewis Seen.
Yep.
Yeah, and they got Booth. I mean, good additions, but are they really going to –
I don't think Andrew Booth was healthy his junior year at college either. I don't know if he's coming into the season healthy anyway.
Okay. They get Danielle Hunter back, but how often is he on the field?
Exactly. And this is for Smitty.
Out there.
This is for Smitty. By the way, we can now squash this Danielle Hunter is better than TJ Watt shit.
Yeah, there's only a couple that are better than TJ Watt.
And that's nobody.
He's not even the best edge rusher in his division, but we won't talk about it.
He is. We're not even getting into this, but okay, let's continue, boys.
So we got for the win total, they're looking at 8.5.
Give me the over. Yeah, give me the over. I think they're a playoff team as well.
I think this is a tough thing where it's like you have a great offense with a terrible defense, so they're kind of like fighting against each other all season, which can get a little scary. I mean, defense could lose you games, but I think they're definitely capable of at least 9 wins. So I'll give you the over.
Especially in a weak conference, I think they can squeeze out 9 or 10 wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, they won 9 games last year, and like I said, they were a 28th ranked defense. They did add to their defense a little bit, even though not all times rookies come in and perform well. The additions to the defense should help. Coaching regime, some changes there. So I'm gonna go over 8.5 as well.
Yeah, and they got the guy out of LA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so
Next, I want to talk about a team to me that is on the rise. A team that I really like what they're doing. Let's get into it with the Detroit Lions. This offense, I think they are a QB away. They sport a top 5 O-line in the game. Their O-line is nasty and they're young. You trade up to go get Jameson Williams, who I think is a great receiver to pair with Amon St. Brown, TJ Hawkinson, and DeAndre Swift. Their skill position guys are set. They're a QB away. But we're talking about them in 2022. I obviously don't think they finished last in this division. But I do think they will sport a top 10 pick this season.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they're top 10 pick this year. I think they're in the teens. I think Goff can find a way to get 6-7 wins. I think it's a very top heavy league this year, especially in the NFC. I think they can sweep the Bears. That's how bad the Bears are, in my opinion. I think the Bears are fighting for the first pick. I mean, there's 2 wins there. I think they can find some other wins. I mean, Goff, it's a whole different team, but the guy has went to a Super Bowl. He has a top. I know, whole different team, whole different. I know, I get it, but it's not like he's a Drew Lock. But he's got a top 5 O line. He's got Swift. He's got Hawkinson. He's got Jameson Williams. He's got Amon St. Brown. You didn't even mention DJ Shark. TJ Hawkinson, like it's a loaded offense outside of Jared Goff. I think that's a nice offense, honestly. I think it's the second best offense in the division behind the Vikings. I like the offense better than the Packers as a whole. Obviously, I like Aaron Rodgers better than anybody in the division. But as a whole, I like the entire Lions offense. You're right, Steven. They are a quarterback away. If they can find themselves getting a solid quarterback next year, look out for the Lions. Dan Campbell's got them moving in the right direction. The defense has some good pieces as well. I mean, keeping Aiden Hutchinson in Michigan, I think that's huge. I mean, he's played in Michigan his entire life. Jaguars are going to regret that pick.
The Jags are so stupid.
We don't even need to get into that. I mean, they're going to regret that pick. I mean, the Jaguars are going to Jaguar every time. That's why they're a terrible franchise. I mean, but Detroit's they're not any better. But I think they're going to hit on that pick. And then them moving up with the division, Minnesota Vikings, to get Jameson Williams, I mean, that was huge. And they didn't even give up a lot, really.
Yeah.
And
not respectfully, no.
I really like what Detroit's doing. I mean, like you said, that offensive line is young and really talented.
You mentioned Drew Lock. I think Jared Goff is honestly like a glorified Drew Lock. I hate Jared Goff. That's just me, though. But here's the thing about their offense. If you're rebuilding by Lions players now, and if you're competing, wait to the offseason, you're going to pay more because they're probably going to get the quarterback. But obviously, if you're competing, you have the roster space to go out and get who you want. But yeah, if you're rebuilding, go get all the Lions players. I'm all in with all the skill talent, except for maybe Chark. I was a Chark lover, but now I'm a little bit of a Chark hater over time. So.
I think he's a rental anyway.
But I'm excited for Jameson Williams. Hawkinson's a beast. Swift's a PPR god. I mean, they have all the tools to put something together. They just can Jared Goff do it.
Yeah. By Jameson Williams, guys. When you look at this dude, he is one of the most complete receivers to come into the league in this draft. Polished, explosive. I mean, Bama receivers rarely ever miss. Like this dude can play. And he's going for a discount right now because of the injury. Yeah, it's a slight discount. I mean, I have him better than Chris Olave. That's me personally. And if you're paying the Olave price, I think at the end of the year you could be talking about him in the Rashad Bateman, price range. And Bateman's getting a lot of love right now. I'm a big fan of Jameson Williams. That's a huge buy for me. But I am fading Amon-Ra. That second half of the year last year was insane. This dude demanded a 35% target share without Swift, without Hawkinson. You can't realistically expect those numbers to continue. That is going to fall. And his price range, it skyrocketed going into the draft. Like, this dude was talked about in like the top 15 wide receivers, and I thought that was a little extreme. So he's my fade from this roster as of today.
Absolutely.
So we have the Lions at 19.1 points per game. Now, if they are going to finish outside the top 10 because their defense is not there yet, they are going to give up a lot of points. They have to go over for AJ. I did say that they would be the only two to go over would be the Lions or would be the Packers and the Vikings. So I have to take the under. I'm going to take the under.
19 points seems so achievable, dude.
It is. It does. Dude. I didn't realize it was that low of a number, and I'm
19,
like stupid.
Give me the over. I think they have to improve with the weapons they got, right? I mean, as long as they can stay on the field. I mean, that was part of the issue. Hawkinson and Swift spent time out last year. They had a few bad luck games. I mean, I guess that affects more win total than points. But yeah, give me the over. 19 seems way too low.
I think the additions of Swift and Hawkinson on the field and Jameson Williams is 1 point. I think they can combine, get 1 point to reach 20. I mean, hell, that's an extra point.
Yeah, find 1 point somewhere. Yeah.
I think that's achievable.
If you're a Vikings fan, extra points are not guaranteed, but
that's a touchy subject.
Yeah, no, that's tough. It like curses the whole team. We didn't even touch on that at all.
What do you have the win total at, Ryan?
They are at. Hold on, they're probably going to be pretty low. Yeah, they're at 6.5.
I have them as a top 10 pick this season, so realistically, it only makes sense to go under.
Just 6 and 11s. That seems very much possible, though. I think they are going to be in the lottery for a quarterback, so give me the under. They might even purposely tank for one of these guys. I mean, Bryce Young's a monster in my eyes. I won't mess with Stroud because I hate Ohio State quarterbacks, but
right.
I think they're going to want to be in that lottery spot to go get Bryce.
Yeah, I said 6 or 7 wins, but like you said, I'm gonna stick with the under. I have more confidence that they don't reach a win total than they actually do hit a win total just because they're the Detroit Lions.
Man, but like when you're realistically looking at the low end for like these picks and things like that when it comes to these teams, like I'm going to get into it because we're about to talk about the Bears, but do you think the Lions are going to be bad enough to get Bryce Young?
No.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, is the tank project going to be worth it?
There's other quarterbacks there, though.
That's fair.
And not every team is quarterback needy.
That is also true. Okay.
I mean, if the Jaguars finish in the top 5 with the top 5 pick, are they taking a quarterback?
No. But like you said, man, it also depends on the development of these guys. But you know, a prospect like Trevor Lawrence.
Me either. I was just choosing a team.
Okay.
A prospect like Trevor Lawrence doesn't come out very often, so I don't think they give up on him. I think the Giants are going to take a QB, though. I really do.
I fucking pray to God we didn't pick up his option, so we got to.
I think the Giants and the team that we're about to talk about are fighting for the first pick.
Let's do it. Let's talk about the Bears. This is not the same Bears team, obviously. This is not the same Bears team as your Brian Urlachers and your Super Bowl run with Devin Hester and Robbie Grossman.
Rex Grossman,
obviously. Yeah, old Rex.
Jay Cutler days.
There's nothing on this roster that stands out to me in all seriousness when it comes to a fantasy perspective. They are bad. They are awful. I feel bad for David Montgomery and I feel bad for Darnell Mooney. I really do. and they did nothing in the draft to address any of the issues they have.
Nothing.
They're bad.
They didn't even try.
They drafted O linemen in the 6th and 7th round to protect their franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
Deli, I moved on from Fields. I had one share of Fields. I do like Fields from a talent perspective.
Why?
But this roster it just screams sell.
I sold literally anybody on this whole roster.
I own Montgomery. I feel comfortable owning David Montgomery.
I was gonna finish. He's the only salvageable one, but he's behind such a bad offensive line. It's like, what is he really gonna be capable of doing?
You don't like Mooney? I like Mooney.
Now with Fields at quarterback.
He was a wide receiver too with Fields.
I don't see him repeating that.
I still don't like it.
He's a flex option.
I'll do an over under with him at the end of it, but let's continue. I don't got anything good to say. It is what it is. I mean, it really is.
I mean, they're definitely going to be competing for the fucking number one pick, no doubt.
They are.
I think
They
it's
absolutely are.
the Giants, fucking Seahawks, and Bears going for the top pick. So we'll see how it works out.
I don't think you guys get the top pick. I will tell you that your roster is better than the Bears.
Yeah. But I could see them competing.
That's not really saying
Yeah.
much.
Giants just look like somebody that's drafting CJ Stroud.
I fucking hope not.
Sorry,
I might
buddy.
fucking jump ship. They're asking for me to jump ship, taking Ohio. God damn.
I think Mooney's he's rosterable for sure. I mean, he's not a bad guy. He's not a heavy price. It's not like you're paying a wide receiver 2 price for Darnell Mooney. David Montgomery, he's a solid running back too, I think. I mean, you got to think there's nobody competing with him there. We always talk about workload and fantasy for running backs. I mean, if you're getting the touches, I mean, that's value. I mean, if Dameon Pierce,
I like Khalil Herbert.
Yeah, if Dameon Pierce is getting value, David Montgomery's getting value. But I mean, another guy like a little bit that I've been hearing a lot of good things about is Velus Jones. I heard he's an impressive
rookie.
The 24-year-old rookie. Yeah, I mean, I've been hearing real good things about it. They say he's a playmaker. I mean, he has to be. He's a veteran. But
doesn't really have a choice.
Right. But, I mean, as a stash spot, you were getting them in the 4th and 5th rounds of rookie drafts. It's not like you were getting high in a second. But other than that, I don't want any pieces. I don't want Cole Kmet. I don't want Justin Fields.
See, I like Cole Kmet as like a low-end tight end.
His breakout for the last 3 seasons. I'm over Cole Kmet.
Well, we're going into year 3, so it can't be for 3 seasons, but
whatever.
But last year, I mean, 93 targets for a tight end. I mean, like, and you say the best availability is availability, and he's never missed a game in his NFL career. Tight ends typically don't break out quick. I mean, you know what I mean? You don't have Kyle Pitts coming into the league their rookie year getting 1,000 yards like that. That doesn't happen often. I think a guy like Cole Kmet, I mean, if he sees 90 to 100 targets, they're going to be down a lot. They're going to be throwing the ball a lot. I think he's a stashable tight end. I'm not saying he's going to produce heavy numbers, but I mean, he's a stashable tight end. He's young too. I mean, a lot of the tight ends are crapshoots outside the top 5. They're all crapshoots.
No, just for me to touch on Mooney. I mean, I'm not going to avoid Mooney, but he's not going to be somebody I look at my roster and feel like confident about. But I think he's serviceable.
All right. 140 targets, 81 catches, 1,055 and 4. I'm going to throw the number. Let's go Mooney over under 1,100 yards.
Under.
I mean, he's going to be the number 1, I would imagine. I guess I go over.
I go over 1,100 too.
What's his boom or bust looking like as far as like games where he scores over 20 compared to where he's under 10?
He 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's bad. It's
that's what I'm talking about. I don't feel
10 games under 10 and the rest over 10.
Yeah. Well, how many over 20 was the question?
Over 20?
3?
2.
2. Yeah, see, I don't I'm good.
But when you're looking at the target log, I mean, the numbers stand out. Like he never had a game under 5 targets. So like he's getting peppered. It comes down to
Are
that.
they good passes though?
I mean, that's true. But I mean, 80 catches. Like I said, I think 1,100 yards is doable. I'm not going to say he's going to finish as a top 15 wide receiver. I have him pegged in that 22 to 24 range, 25 range. But he's going to be started again in the leagues we play in. We play in deep leagues with deep rosters. And then, of course, you talked about, the O-line being so bad. Monty as well. AJ speaks very highly of Monty as a running back too. And I think he's firmly entrenched in that area as a running back too. I think he's reliable, and he's a guy that's going to get a lot of volume.
Yeah, I agree. Would you guys take Darnell Mooney or Christian Kirk?
Christian Kirk.
I love Kirk.
I think it's close. I like Kirk though. I do.
Yeah, I don't think it's very significant, but I mean that commitment to him with all that money, they got to have something for him there.
And Kirk has never been a wide receiver one on his own team. Now I get to see him play a wide receiver one role, but it's gonna be weird though because he's gonna be playing from the slot.
Figure it out.
Yeah, a lot of wide receiver ones in the NFL playing the slot too.
I mean, are they moved around the slot, or you have got, what I mean? Like, I know the NFL, the traditional wide receiver ones, the Julio Joneses, the Des Bryants, they've changed. But
whole different league.
Yeah, it's a whole different league. I agree.
In a matter of 6 years.
I agree with that. Chicago, 27th best offense at 18.3 points per game. Under. Smash it.
Under anything that you're about to say about the Bears.
Yep. Deli under on the win total. I'm gonna say, what is the number? 5?
Do you guys want to guess what the number is? Because
it's got to be 5.5.
I'm gonna say
max.
5. Yeah, 5.5.
As of today, they're listed, or as of yesterday, they haven't updated today. They're at 6.5 wins.
Oh, no,
under
for sure.
To fucking smash the under. I'm about to go to the fucking casino tomorrow to put that in.
But I don't want to talk about it because I'm not going to give my input on it. But who does have the lowest win total per Vegas in the NFL projected this season? Is it Houston?
The Seahawks.
The Seahawks.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have the lowest. They are at they're tied with the Jets. They're both at 5.5.
See, I have the Jets winning more than 5.5 or winning at least 6 games.
We'll touch on that next pod.
Yeah, we'll touch on that next pod because we are doing the AFC East. All right, since we didn't do it last time, we kind of skipped it. I don't think anybody's going to steer from this, but
we just do this on 3.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Green Bay.
Packers.
The Packers.
I do got the Vikings making the playoffs, so
I do too.
I think they'll be the highest wild card team in the NFC.
I have the Cardinals not making the playoffs, and I have the Vikings making the playoffs. Other than that, NFC North is done. Frankie, you couldn't be with us. Wednesday is Frankie's show. Frankie chose the AFC East. Another division that has, made a turn. Can't wait to talk about the Miami Dolphins.
I do want to say happy birthday, Frankie. It is tomorrow.
Yep.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it won't.
Does not matter. Happy belated birthday.
Happy belated birthday. By about a week and a half.
Well. Nah, this is a Saturday post there, dickhead. Happy belated. I know we're short on time, but I just want to say thank you guys for the continued support. We are now up to 40 subscribers. Number has jumped. I never thought we'd be where we were. We're just having fun grinding out content, having fun with you guys. We appreciate the support. Keep liking the videos, keep watching, liking, subscribing. We appreciate it. On that note, we are out, fellas.